All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. We like to jump into the really big stories, and this one's definitely making headlines.
Yeah.
And it could definitely be on your UPSC exams.
Oh, yeah.
Both mains and prelims. We're talking about the U.S. Supreme Court and their decision on extraditing Tahawwur Rana to India.
Right.
For his alleged role in the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks.
Mm-hmm.
We're going deep on this one. We got a great piece in the Indian Express.
Yeah, a great place to start.
To help us understand not just what happened, but what it all means.
I think the what it all means part is what's really interesting here, right? How this case could shape the future of India-US, counterterrorism cooperation. This isn't just about one man.
Right.
It's like a potential turning point.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. Who is Tahawwur Rana, and what's his alleged connection to the 26/11 attacks?
So Rana is a Pakistani origin Canadian national.
Okay.
And he's got a history of involvement in terrorism. Back in 2009, he was arrested in Chicago for his role in a plot targeting a Danish newspaper and for providing support to Lashkar-e-Taiba, the group behind the Mumbai attacks.
So there are some past convictions here. What were the specific charges against Rana, and how did the U.S. courts rule?
Yeah, so he was actually convicted in the U.S. for providing material support to terrorism in both of those cases. Served time in prison, but then was released early in 2020.
Got it.
And that's when India formally requested his extradition.
Okay, so that brings us to the India-US Extradition Treaty. What are the essentials here for UPSC aspirants to know about this treaty?
Well, this treaty was signed back in 1997, and it lays out the framework for extraditing individuals accused of crimes in either country. But the key here, and this is important, is the dual criminality clause. So the offense has to be a crime in both India and the U.S.
Yeah.
You can imagine, someone commits a cybercrime in India that's not yet illegal in the U.S. That wouldn't apply in that scenario. This treaty covers a range of offenses, including terrorism, hijacking, and crimes against international protected persons.
And this case specifically deals with terrorism. So what was the basis of the U.S. government's decision to extradite Rana?
Well, they found what's called probable cause. So essentially, they believe there's enough evidence to suspect Rana's involvement, even if it doesn't guarantee a conviction. Rana, though, he argued that he shouldn't be tried in India because of double jeopardy. He had already been convicted in the U.S. for similar activities.
So essentially, he was saying, I've already served my time.
Exactly.
But that didn't hold up in court.
Didn't fly. Nope. A U.S. magistrate judge rejected Rana's argument, pointing out that the charges India brought against him had distinct legal elements compared to his U.S. conviction. He appealed this decision all the way up to the Supreme Court.
Wow.
But every attempt failed.
So after all of that legal back and forth, he's now facing extradition. How significant is this case in the broader context of U.S. extraditions to India? There have been some roadblocks in the past, right?
Absolutely. You're right. This is a pretty rare win for India. Only 2 people allegedly involved in terrorism have ever been extradited from the U.S. to India before.
Yeah?
Charanjit Singh Chima in 2005 and Kulbir Singh Kulbira in 2006. We've seen other high-profile cases that haven't been as successful.
Like the David Headley case, right?
Exactly. Headley was also involved in the Mumbai attacks, but he wasn't extradited because he took a plea bargain with U.S. authorities. And then you have the case of Warren Anderson, the CEO of Union Carbide, involved in the Bhopal gas tragedy. The U.S. rejected India's extradition request, citing insufficient evidence.
So this really does feel like a landmark case. What are the key takeaways here for UPSC aspirants?
This case really showcases the complexities of international law and diplomacy. The India-US Extradition Treaty, it's a powerful tool, but it's not always straightforward to apply. Rana's case might set some new legal precedents for extraditions in the future, and it really makes you think about the role of plea bargains and just how much evidence is needed for successful extraditions.
It's a really good point. And what about the bigger picture of India-US relations here, especially when it comes to counterterrorism?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting, I think. Rana's extradition, it could be a turning point. It could signal much stronger cooperation between India and the U.S. against groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba. But it also raises questions like, will this lead to a smoother process for future extradition requests from India? Or could it create some new points of tension? It's definitely something to watch closely.
Absolutely. A lot to think about. For those prepping for the UPSC exams, we hope this deep dive has given you some really valuable insights into this evolving situation.
Definitely.
Make sure to check out the original article in the Indian Express for a more in-depth look. And for all our listeners, don't hesitate to leave your questions or thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button and subscribe for more UPSC-focused deep dives.
See you next time.
See you next time.